Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is our second day of Indian Data 21, organized by FDPI. And today, the particular session, first session, we have a person who is fondly known as Cyber Singham, Dr. Triveni Singh. Just briefly introducing him, but his talks and his work speaks more than I am introducing him. He is a person and financial fraud guy with an eye for detail, ability to work even in high pressure situations, provides timely delivery of services and work with diverse teams. He has got a sharp memory and acute sense of observation. Truly a cybercrime and financial fraud professional and extremely valuable resource for Indian law enforcement agencies. Dr. Triveni Singh is an exceptional help when it comes to financial fraud, anti-corruption, vigilance, economic offenses, money laundering, and not the least, but cyber crimes, which is his expertise domain. His commitment to work as a white-collar crime investigator, dealing with major cases of financial frauds, and recently he has investigated into Bitcoin frauds also. So he will be dealing the first session or inaugural session today, that is challenges to law enforcement from law enforcement agencies, data protection law. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me start with what kind of cyber crime is happening. So I will start with the magnitude and then what kind of cyber crime, and then my practical exposure when I conducted few raids in Delhi or other regions, then the picture related with privacy will be clear. In last 2 years, we have got more than 70,000 cases related with cybercrime. I am talking only about Uttar Pradesh. If we're talking about India as a whole, that the NCRP portal, that is cybercrime.gov.in, more than 6 lakh cases has been registered. Complaint has been registered. So basically, I will focus on Uttar Pradesh. So more than 70,000 cases and 10,000 FIR registered in UP. So what kind of crime is happening? 56% cases, I have done the analysis. 56% cases are related with financial fraud. And then 26, around 35%, the cases related with cybercrime happening through social media platform. And then the rest of the cases, those are really very complicated, like cryptocurrency fraud, like ransomware attack, somebody using deepfake technology, they are creating your synthetic image, synthetic video. So this kind of DDoS attack, even somebody is hacking into. So if we are talking in percentage terms, then all this comprise at least 5% of the total cases registered. High tech crime, like malware infection, then ransomware attack, then DDoS attack, cryptocurrency fraud. So these are highly technical. Now I am going to talk about what is on the actual ground. I have conducted several times raid in NCR region, Delhi region, Gurgaon, Noida area, and what I have found that the data related with any entity, be it NBFC or banks or any organization, even the database of telecom operators, it's openly, available in the market. You should have a right connect. You will have to pay the premium, and you can find data, filtered on your parameter. For example, suppose you need the data related with Triveni Singh, and they know that I am policy holder of life insurance company. So if we're going and talking to a data broker, it's an illegal market there in the NCR. If you are talking to them and you want the data related with a particular insurance company, and you say that the data related with those whose premium amount is higher than this amount. I mean, those who have taken this policy for the last 15 years plus or 10 years plus, areas should be, they should be basically from Northeast region, because they are going to talk in Hindi and Bhojpuri. Then, you know, they have done such a data analytics put in that they will provide you the data as per your demands, and they will take the money. So, and I'm not talking about the insurance company, because we conducted several rates related. Just 30 minutes earlier, a senior officer from NBFC came, and he said that we are into loaning industry. The moment we allot a loan to someone, the moment, next minute, it goes into the hands of cyber criminal. And they have confirmed it by making a phone call to a fraudster. And he told that, just let me check it. And he checked on his own system, and he told that this is the profile of someone whom you have just immediately sanctioned the loan. So he was shocked. He told me that we are shocked that they have the real-time data access, you know. It's all related with data breach, you know. So how the data and why the data breach is happening, why nobody is taking it seriously. There are so many standards. There are so many legal provisions that is there in ITX, but nobody is complying with. Everybody is interested in compliance. If you need to certify your system or database, then you have to take a certificate, ISO 27001. There are so many companies, they are distributing this certificate, you know, by taking 15,000 and 20,000 rupees. They are just distributing. They are not doing any pen testing. They are not into VA and all that. They are doing nothing about, just simply issuing the certificate. Now you are happy that I am compliant. If somebody is asking the question, I will say, yes, I am 27,001 certified. Yes, PCI DSS, I have got the certification. But if everyone is certified, for example, if we're talking about an insurance company, there is a guidelines by IRDA that you have to follow this information security management system, ISMS. That is almost as far as ISO 27001. Then where is the awareness? You talk to any insurance manager, a company manager, apart from the CISO and CIO, nobody knows what is this information security management system. If somebody is compromising your credentials, he can easily get your data. He can easily, just 2 days earlier, a hacker come to me, and he was, I'm not going to mention the name of the company. He told me, sir, easily we can hack. And by simply using the tool Fiddler and a data tamper and Burpsuit, they have got a hands-on experience. They are doing it, and they are, you know, getting all data related with it's a complete profile of all that insurance company. For some university, you know, they are hacking into database of any company. You just say, and they are ready to hack into. And for the last 2021 years, recently we celebrated the 21st anniversary of the ITX. So what is happening? So right from the day one, it was the issue that you need to protect the sensitive personal data. You need to protect the credentials of someone. For example, so what is if I am talking about the security triangle in security practitioners' language, then the confidentiality is the most important factor. I mean, and we are not able to protect the confidentiality. I'm not talking about the personally identifiable information. Okay, my mobile phone is being shared with someone. It's not a different, but it's my sensitive personal data. Like my biometric, somebody is cloning, taking it from the some website, and they are cloning my biometric, and then by using this biometric clone of my finger, they and AEPS, Aadhaar enabled payment system, they are withdrawing money. They are putting my clone fingerprint for my attendance. So if this is the height of dereliction of duty by the senior officers or whosoever is there in the responsible position, be it the corporate sector, be it the government sector, they're not concerned about. And if I have talked to several CIO, I have talked to several CISO, even I have talked to CEO, you know, that this is the breach, this is the flaw, this is the vulnerability in your system. So anyone can hack. They are not serious about. Then they say, sir, so we are looking into it. Again, I asked someone, just you try, just try it's hackable or not. So 6 months passed, still the same flaw is there. Same flaw is there, you know. So if somebody as young as 17 years and 15 years old, he can hack into your database immediately by using simple tool like Data Temper and Fiddler and Bob Suite, and by simple, you know, giving some SQL injection, they are getting your admin panel and all that. So what is the security? Security is nowhere. Seriously speaking, I am talking about the corporate sector. They are not serious about security. I'm not talking about the 100% organization. So maybe few of them, they will be taking cyber security seriously. But, and that's why I always say that awareness not only for the CISO and CIO, even your top management, you know, C-suite officials, they should be aware of. They should make cyber security as top agenda in their board meeting. There should be an independent director. That must be someone apart from the CISO. There must be someone in the director level to discuss, to look into these kind of issues, because it's very complicated. You cannot leave it only to the CISO and CIO. It's an enterprise-wide concept. You know, each and everyone has to be sincere, and they should know the basic cyber security fundamentals. They should be well versed with cyber hygiene. What kind of basic cyber security countermeasures we should install here, be it physical control or the technical control or the administrative control. They don't have any idea. You always go to the bank, because I am dealing with cybercrime cases on the daily basis. We interact with bank executives, the insurance executives, all the operators. When I talk about, do you know any this kind of standard is there, information security standard like ISO 27001? No. Have you received any internal guidelines related with information security from your bank top senior officers? So we are not aware. So some of the letters come and go, so we are not sure. And if we're talking about the clerk level, you know, the SW and the junior level, they're least aware. I am talking about the senior officers, the branch managers. They do not know that they have to go through certain information security booklet. They have to be aware. They have to conduct some awareness campaign, or they have to conduct some workshop related with information security. So I am talking about the senior officer. I'm not talking about the junior one. And I think that from the junior to the top, from the CEO, from the chairman, they should be aware about the cyber security basic countermeasures. You know, okay. And what will be the repercussion? Because you cannot outsource. You cannot outsource this responsibility to your junior. It's already there in Information Technology Act provision. Okay, the top executive will be responsible if some fraud or some breach happens against a particular company. So it's already 85 section is there in IT Act. When we are talking about the Company Act, there is 447. If some fraud happens, then the top executive, they will be accountable. So you cannot outsource this accountability to junior. Sir, my CISO is there, my junior IT guy is there, he will be looking for it. No, that's your responsibility. That's your responsibility. You cannot, if 43 contravention is noted, then adjudicating authority in your state is going to ask tough question. What was your due diligence? What you have done? What you have done to secure your sensitive personal data? And you will have to show. If you don't have any idea about ISO 27001, What are these 130, 50 countermeasures? I am not talking about your CISO will know in detail, but at least you should have the basic idea that that legally it's my statutory responsibility to protect the sensitive personal data of the of my customer. So that's there. You go in the doc, you can get any data related with any corporate. You go in just few days earlier, somebody came. They are looking into dark web. It's a consulting company, and they provide services. So I gave him a name of the company, a bank, particular bank. I told him that you do something, do some analysis, and give the report to me. They immediately, just within 2 hours, he submitted a report to me. All the employees, mail ID and their password, current password. The complete list I got, and I talked to the senior most officer in that bank, and they were not interested in getting the resolution, So this is in fact, this is height. We are talking about the privacy, as I have seen on the ground, except few, most of them are not aware. Most of the senior executive C-suite officials, they are not serious about. They may be talking about cybercrime, they may be talking about cyber security and privacy. So they may be talking, but they are really not serious on the ground level. That is a matter of concern. Otherwise, on the daily basis, we read in the newspapers, so data breach, Dr. Reddy Path Lab attack, then Dr. Path Lab attack, Haldiram attack, ransomware attack. Why it's happening? Attacked, and their data breach, their complete data is there in the dark web. So I am not talking about the dark web. I am talking about the open source. So your data is not in the dark web. Your data is there on Telegram. You just go on the Telegram and find your entire company. So just to name the company, I will get the data. Means they're not serious about security. Had they been serious about the security, definitely data breach may happen. But at least this is your legal duty to investigate how this data breach happened, where from the infection came, when the data went outside into the hands of the cyber criminal. How you will have to investigate the entire supply chain. So I mean, suppose your data is there in the market, definitely either it would have been some hackers behind, or your someone insider, your maybe employee. He would have been compromised. He would have sold the data in the market, or some hacker from the outside, or some malware installed in your system. Somebody is trying through the back door and getting your data. But the problem is that you need to investigate. I am telling you that your data is there in the dark web. I have given you the sample that this is your data, secret data in your format. I am giving you, and you are not interested in investigating the case. Even you are not doing the internal investigation. You are not coming to the police. Data breach is a criminal crime. It's a criminal offense. Neither you are reporting it to the computer emergency response team. And the banking sector, financial sector, it's a critical infra. Once there is a breach, then you need to report it to the NCIPC, National Critical Information Infrastructure. You are not going to report. You are not going to report it to CERT, because you think that once I am going to report it, it will be a police case. It will come into the media. My reputation will be damaged. My brand will be compromised. So if I am talking about the corporate mindset, that my brand will be affected, my customer will be affected, there will be some kind of campaigning against us. So why to get into the litigation? Why not settle it in-house? So okay, you can do it, but again I am telling you, now the days are not far away when the tough question will be asked to the senior officers. What was your due diligence? What kind of security countermeasures had you installed? What kind of training had you conducted? What kind of workshop? You just give me the entire detail, date-wise, time-wise, when you did it, because that is part of your due diligence. And now, since the privacy bill is going to be, most probably, it will be enacted soon. As Nami ji told that joint parliamentary committee, they are most probably going to produce it on 22nd number. Let's see what happens. But privacy, apart from that privacy bill, I'm talking about the sensitive personal data. Sensitive personal data, my bank info, my credit card info, my debit card info, my biometric, my facial recognitions. If you are capturing my facial recognition, if you are capturing my fingerprint, do you have system to secure this data, because this is a sensitive personal data, and you should have the reasonable security practices to protect all this data. You should have. Do you have this? You were capturing my facial recognition, it's my biometric data. Do you have the countermeasures like ISO 27001? So no. So then you may be pulled up in adjudicating authority case, that we can go to the court against you, because this is even today this is the law that you have to protect. Otherwise, the fine may be up to 5 crore rupees. If somebody is going to complain in adjudicating authority and they say that because of data breach, this happened, my reputation damage, some kind of fraud happened, some kind of social media, fraud happened with me. So he can go and he can claim, So because it was my data was in your was there in your system, in your data center. I had given this info only to you. How it came into open domain? So these are the tough questions that must be asked. Since there are a lot of people from the corporate sector listening, so I want to tell that be it the RBI or SEBI or IRDA, they have already issued their own cyber security booklet. That's based on ISO 27000. Just go through it, just run through it, and just know what is cyber security, what is cyber hygiene, and you should keep on awareing your employees. You should start an awareness campaign from your side. You should conduct some workshop for the junior level, and only then you can stop this kind of data breaches. I am not talking only about India. I'm worldwide. The situation is very gloomy. So you just name the entity and you will get the data in the dark web. You name the entity, you will get data in the illegal market. You have this data. It means there has been a data breach. Nobody is investigating. Nobody is coming to police. I want to ask a very important question. How many corporate sector came to the police station? Sir, my data, how it gone into the hands of the cyber criminals? So on this basis, you register my criminal case, because it's a criminal offense. Somebody hacked into my system, it's a criminal offense. And there has been, without hacking, the data could not go. Either your insider is responsible, or some hacking incident, or some malware. So whatever, let's get this whole data breach be investigated. So you should have some data breach notification strategy. You should do the forensic. You should what is your response mechanism? What is your cybersecurity crisis plan? You should be discussing along with your top officials, and let's get it populated down to the junior levels, so that they should understand that this is very important. If some data I am sharing from, I have investigated several cases in which the employees themselves, they made a screenshot of your account detail and shared with criminals. I have sent bank officials to jail because they used to share this information. They are going into the Finacle, they are getting your entire data and then taking a screenshot and sending it to someone. So name the company, and same thing is happening in the health sector. My entire health data is there in the market. You have seen it. You have seen it. My health profile, my pathological report. How my pathological report can go into the domain, and open source domain? It's a matter of concern, because this is my sensitive personal data. So these are the issues. If you are free to ask any question, legal, technical, anything, I would like to reply.
Dr. Trivedi, thank you very much. Really quite interesting and insight into what's happening. And I have just collated the questions, whatever they had put in chat box. I will take it with you one by one. Yeah. Let me start with Dr. Lemmay's question.
Yeah.
When banks are not cross-checking with the account number and name of the beneficiary, why banks should not be penalized? What's your call?
Yeah, definitely they should be penalized. There should be penalized, but there has to be complainant. If some complainant is coming to me, definitely we are going to lodge a FIR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great. The second question from Alik. Please answer any person who wants to start career in digital audit, cyber security audit, forensic audit, and having experience of 20 years in the field of accounting, banking, general, and commercial laws. How to start?
So definitely there is so much opportunity in this cyber domain, cyber domain, cyber forensic, IAS auditing, cyber security, ethical hacking, VAPT. It's full of opportunity there. If you are really talented, if you have really hands-on expertise, definitely a lot of opportunity. You just connect with me. I will send. If you are really intelligent, there is scarcity of such kind of talented people in this field. So just suppose you are CH certified, you have taken some course in certified ethical hacking and CHFI. It's not important. Important thing is how much do you know? Do you have any knowledge? Do you have any hands-on? Suppose I am telling you just come and you do the IS auditing of my computer system and my this entire things. So can you produce some results? If you can, then you get connected with me. I will refer you to some corporate. They are a big four company. They are looking for such brilliant people. There are lots of opportunity. Next question.
Great, sir. What does Dr. Triveni think about effectiveness of the tools and solutions available and being used? Also, if these are threat themselves sometimes? Question by Dr. S.P. Arya. Yeah.
Definitely. When we were creating our tender, then there was a clause, that if we are importing something, then there has to be some STQC certification that this tool or this application is secure. There is no malware, there is no any flaw, there is no any bug, but the reality. The reality. And that's why I say that there should be some stringent guidelines, some stringent compliance, mandate that you need to get certified, not only certificate in terms of compliance, but you should have the skill. And because India, what is happening, we lack malware analysts. Frankly speaking, there are few real malware analysts who can go through all the coding. We can go through all the source code and they can find out that this is the code related with backdoor and all that. So it's scarcity, and that's why on the paper, yeah, they are complied with. In reality, I think no.
Okay. Great. 1 minute. Dr. Limay, are you there? Dr. Limay? Okay. In the meantime, I'll put one question. He will be coming here back. There is a question by Mr. Navi. What's the likely impact of recognizing Bitcoins in some form on cyber crimes? Will banning of Bitcoins reduce the incentive for crimes?
As a police officer, we are more interested in tracking the criminals. My approach is how to track the criminal. If somebody is putting money into cryptocurrency, it's not my domain. But if some fraud has happened on the cryptocurrency exchange, someone's wallet has been wiped out, definitely it's a matter of concern. Then I will look into how to backtrack the criminal. If this platform is not maintaining KYC of any investor, if they are not maintaining the KYC of the other end, because the beneficiary may be located some outside country. If that particular exchange is not maintaining the KYC of the beneficiary, till then, I think it should not be allowed. The technology is good, the product is good, you can invest, everything is good. But KYC must be KYC norm must be strictly followed, like what is happening in case of banking accounts, what is happening in case of your passport. It should be regulated. There has to be some regulation. There has to be some regulator,
Right. There is a question from Dr. Rakesh Goyal. Who will build the cat? Who is going to ask tough questions? Barring a few people, how many regulators are cybersecurity literate and knows the cyber controls?
Yeah, definitely. I told you earlier, now the law enforcement agency, even the bankers, even they are being trained. They are getting more aware about what should be the security countermeasures, cyber security. So this is their duty to ask this question. This is the duty of the CISO, because if you have outsourced something to the third party, he is outsourcing it to the fourth party, then you need to assess whether your third party is ISO certified or not, whether he has again outsourced it to fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So it has to be stopped. And the question has to be asked by the law enforcement agency also. If some crime is happening, it's my duty to ask these questions. So what's your due diligence? So law enforcement agency, banking officer, whosoever is taking the services, it is his duty to ask this tough question to the IS auditor. And it's IS auditor's responsibility is to find out the flaw and then report it to the board that you make some correction. Otherwise, there may be anytime you may be the victim of cyber attack. So it's the entire stakeholders, they need to be serious, and the question must be asked by definitely. So Rakesh ji.
Yeah, great, sir. There is another question from Mr. Virender. In my experience, the cybercrime cell even doesn't respond to the cases which have been reported within 3 hours from the time the crime has been reported. This case was about money taken out from the bank.
There is we have issued, Government of India, MHA has issued a toll-free number, 155260. So effectively operating in Uttar Pradesh, 155260. If you are victim of financial cybercrime and you are calling that number, there is an operator, he is going to note your details, and he says that you have got your information noted down, and simultaneously you go on the cybercrime.gov.in and register your complaint. So what we do, we note down the information, we put this data into the CyberSafe portal. CyberSafe portal is something like a collaborative platform for all the payment bank, wallet company, and the banks. So if you are victim of a cybercrime and you are dialing 155260 and getting your information noted down, then it's going into the real database. So if within 2, 3, 4 hours, if you are taking the help of this number, definitely your money will be blocked. And in UP alone, I have freezed 5 crore, 5 crores fraudulent amount, and 1 crore plus they have already, the 1 crore plus have already been recredited to the victim accounts. So this is a good, initiative by the MHA, and it's helping a lot to the victim.
Great. One more question from Mr. Rajiv. How do we control organizations who provides ISO 27001 and PCI DSS certifications without any audits or verifications?
So it's up to the organization who are taking this certification, the organization, be it government or corporate. If you are interested only in compliance, that legally I have to comply, I have to get the certificate, I have put it in the file. And if somebody is asking, I will say that we are satisfied. Till then, you cannot stop yourself being, attacked, But if you are really sincere, so it is the duty of the corporate and the government sector to be serious and ask tougher question and to do this IS auditing seriously. So it's a bigger question. My answer is that you need to be serious. That's all.
Great, I understand. Question from Mr. Akshay sir. The sudden surge in crypto trading is something to worry about. or taken as an investment opportunity?
So I'm not an investment advisor. If you are committing, listen, just day before yesterday, assistant general manager. So very example, just I have 2 minutes. Assistant general manager is State Bank of India. So what cyber criminal told that there is huge, exponential rise in profit in cryptocurrency. You are not investing. Yes, we are interested. And they created a cryptocurrency exchange, similar in look and feel of the Binance. So exactly, they created the wallet. He got him to pay money by the credit card. He paid by the credit card. Even when he was opening his account, then it was on the dashboard. He was seeing that the profit is rising. There are so many Bitcoin in my account. So it was all, it was exactly replica of the Binance. He lost 63 lakh rupees, 63 lakh rupees. And he is from he assistant general manager, State Bank of India. He's from Azamgarh. He came to me, I have lost 63. So when I looked at the platform, it was exactly a replica of the Binance. So you cannot be sure, you can never be sure. So what can I do? What can I do? I can't do anything. I cannot do because if I am asking something from the Binance, they are not maintaining the KYC. They do not share any details with any law enforcement agency. So I have seen several cases. Their wallets showed the balance, and when they were trying to redeem it, encash it, they were not able. It means it's a fraudulent enterprise. So as a police officer, as of now, because there is no regulator, there is no database of KYC, as of now, I will advise, don't, keep off. Let the regulator come, let some regulatory mechanism come into existence, and then of course you can.
Great. Probably I would put this as, we'll take this as a last question. And the question from Reena Bengeri, quite interesting. How are police personnel constantly equipped with the investigation tools and technology to investigate effectively the cyber crimes? There seems to be a need to have a special cell of technology experts to impart such training. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yes.
So for that, what we are doing, we are training them. We are even MHA is taking the wonderful lead into that. We have got a Cytrain portal in NCRB. You can go on for the officials only. You can go on that, and there are lots of training material. Video format, audio format, then you can go through the text. It's a huge platform has been created. At the local level, we are establishing cyber labs. Cyber labs, that has hard disk forensic, mobile forensic, cryptocurrency, even investigation tools. We have damage disease, we have network miner tools. So a password cracking tools. So we have established here cyber forensic lab. So if somebody is investigating a case, he can take the help of this cyber lab. We are providing them technical assistance, and we are the nodal officers. So in case of communicating with some operator or service provider outside the country, for example, Facebook, or for any hosting service provider or any foreign banks, so we communicate. We get the data, provide them. Technically, we are upgrading them. We are trying to upskill them. This is a constant, efforts done even in the police department. And you might have seen recently, there are so many cybercrime police stations that being set up everywhere in every part of India. Like even in UP, we established 18 cybercrime police stations dedicated to cybercrime. Only cybercrime cases are registered there. So the same thing is happening all over India. Yeah.
Sure. Great, sir. There are lots of questions, but with the kind of time constraint. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I would request Ruchika, can you please propose vote of thanks? Thank you very much.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Triveni. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to address us all today and sharing your experiences with us. We are all aware of physical privacy, physical security. We all ensure that there are locks on our doors and windows. But when it comes to data on machines, the same level of protection is not afforded. If there is a new technology that comes, most of us have that keyhole, and now we've got that camera on the door. But so we keep upgrading our physical security, whereas the same is not done. And like you mentioned, even certifications like ISO 27001, ISMS, which are meant to ensure that companies are complying with security measures which they claim to be doing, are being sold in the market, which is actually very distressing to know for me as a user. And this is equivalent to cheating the customers and cheating the employees as well. It's not just the customers' data which is being leaked. You also told us about the illegal market where real time data is being accessed by criminals. And the commitment to protect the data of customers is not reflected in the actions of even senior officials of an organization. As a member of the public, it is a very scary situation to be in. A lot of people on this panel are aware of their rights, but when it comes to a general public who's not aware of data privacy or how security measures have to be taken, it is not, I would say it is not a very conducive way of going forward. You rightly said that privacy and security of data is an enterprise-wide concept, and everybody from the CXO to the junior employee should be aware of it. And training, I believe, is something across all levels should be imparted, and everybody should be aware of this. I would like to share a personal experience I had quite recently with respect to a cyber crime. In the month of August this year, my father-in-law was a victim of cyber crime. He's a resident of Noida, UP. So he approached the cyber cell in Noida. They were very diligent in blocking several credit card transactions of his, which protected his hard-earned money. So in addition to the vote of thanks, I would also like to add a personal thanks to the Noida police and your team. And thank you once again, sir.